Anyway, the weather's changed, but last video I redid the brakes and the bearings, and then I found out I had to tear it all apart. I'm just going to show you the parts I got, and I'm just going to explain it. It's just kind of interesting. Okay, this table is full of parts. So again, I took all these brakes apart. Then the car outside, the frame, 64, I took all those parts out, all the brake parts. So it turns out, I can't remember what I filmed, but it turns out that every one of these cylinders from this car was bad or frozen. This is a whole box full of bearings and parts. So I could not use any of these. But the ones that came out of the other car were good. They were brand new. They were a little rusty on the outside, but they were brand new. So I was able to use those. The last video, I discovered that the self-adjusters were missing off of this car. Somebody had just removed them. This is part of the self-adjuster. This is part of the self-adjuster. This is part of the self-adjuster. Also, I didn't know this. You can't really tell by looking at this picture here on page 26. But the front brakes look like this. These have a bigger cylinder, bigger diameter cylinder. These are like just to round it off, these are like 1/16. These are like 15/16. So there's 3 sets of springs. 1, 2, 3. The problem was on this car, somebody had switched the springs. I know these 2 are right, but then I got all these. These 3 are different than these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm probably gonna end up using 4 of these. So what I did before, I always say take pictures, because now that I took it off, I can't remember how these go together. These go on like this. The other thing I noticed, these are the self-adjusting wheels that go down at the bottom. Watch how easy this spins. I can spin it with my one finger. Some of them were jammed up. They still turn, but they're hard to turn. So yeah, there's one more trick. So when you turn your wheel, there's a possibility you could hit your rubber hose. But if you look at the end of this, it's square. And so is that. I'll try. You can turn it and then put it up in the right square hole like that. You see that? Push this down in here. This way I could wiggle the hose and line it up and put it in no problem. Okay, I got it. That makes it so much simpler. And again, like I said, you can turn this. So I want this hose to be back a little bit. That's good. These heads can get stripped. Now's the time, before you put them in, get your wrench, whatever wrench you're using. Make sure it easily slips on there. See that? Now's the time. In fact, do them all. Bench grinder or a file. Put some grease on here. That's where the brake pads slide. And I found some more problems. Each one of these cylinders is different for each wheel. So when I pulled this off of the car outside, I wrote on here left front. So if I was to take this cylinder and put it on the other side, that hose would be over here. That's the difference. There's a left and a right. Is the front brakes have a bigger bore cylinder inside. This is important to know if you're going to order parts, because it just isn't clear, and the parts stores don't seem to understand what's going on because it's an old car. But the front cylinders look like this. They have you see that protrusion there? They bolt to here. The rear ones, which I haven't put on yet, look like this. Now, if you look at these two, you see the hole on this side? On this one, it's on the opposite side. So you got one on the left, or one on the right, one on the left. So when you order these parts, if you buy them new, which I would suggest, they only cost like 20 bucks, which is not cheap, but the reason I'm telling you this is that it's really confusing trying to order these parts. But this is what I found out. Go to Rock Auto. They will give you the part number. So they might say, for instance, 1 1/8 bore or 15/16 bore, and you're thinking, what the heck does that mean? And then they might have a left and a right. So now you know what the difference is. So there's left and right. So when you go to take this off, so you undo this bolt here, this nut, and there's a lock washer. You can see that I have it locked right there. You just bend over one of the tabs. But when you go to take this off, you cannot take it off unless you undo either the hose or the bleeder. So when I went to take mine off the other car, the bleeder, which is on this side, you know, when they get stripped, you can't get a wrench on it. I guess what I'm getting at is you need to get off one side or the other, and then you can pull this out. So either the hose will come out with it, or the brake bleeder will come out with it, if you can follow that. When you put it back together, this is what I would do. Again, this is what I've learned from my mistakes. Put the hose on, feed it through, tighten it up, then put the bleeder in. The reason you want to do that is you need to get this hose snug. It's a tight fit in there. So put the hose on, make sure there's a copper washer, tighten it up, slip it through, put this on, put the bleeder on. Now, another thing that happened, again, I'm just sharing all these weird things that happened. These are brand new hoses. They'd never been used. They were on the car. They even had a cap in the end so nothing could get in it. You know, bugs, dirt, whatever. Thought to myself, you better see if you can shoot fluid through these. In other words, are they any good? Even though they're brand new, they're no good. If you buy new hoses, squirt some brake cleaner through it. You don't want to get it all together and then you're trying to wonder, why are my brakes not working? The other thing about these aftermarket, so this is the side that screws into the cylinder that we were just talking about. You see the fitting? It's right close to the end here. On the stock ones, this is way out here. You cannot get a wrench into there. Buy new hoses, try to find one that I'm gonna show you right now. You see the fitting is way out here, not way in there. You cannot get a wrench in there. So now I'm starting to put the brakes together. While I'm here, you see the way this is all the way up against that? If you're changing your brake shoes and it doesn't easily go up against that, the chances are your cylinders are frozen. That's what I found out. That was my problem. I couldn't get them all the way up. Also put grease right here because this piece also pivots. Again, don't go crazy. Again, if you go to my last video, I talk about what do you do if your brake, let me start over. They do not sell a brake drum with a hub. This is the hub. They don't sell them. The hub can be removed by pushing these studs out. So you got to have a hydraulic press or you got to take it to somebody. Don't try beating on them. It's useless. I've done that also. So I cleaned a lot of this on a wire wheel. I mean, they were bad. I suggest you coat all this stuff with oil. Just think of it like your skin. It'll soak into the pores, and then you can wipe off the excess. But you need to either paint them or get some oil into the pores and then wipe it all off. I'm talking about everything metal. Everything you do. These that go in here, put grease on them. Because there's a rubber boot there. Like these are all rusted out. You can see I haven't cleaned these. That'll just tear that boot to pieces. So I made this, me and a guy named Joe. So I didn't clean all my parts. I threw them in here. This thing, me and Joe made, I'll show you how it works. It's a tumbler. And I had this running all night last night. So all those rusted parts, all the ones I didn't clean are in here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take those parts out. I'm going to put some oil on them. Just coat them, again, not heavy. This is a great tool. I haven't used it on this car till now. So that's where I am. Okay, I got all the parts out of the cleaner. Tumbler. Again, I don't want too much grease on here, so now I got to get it all off. Just going to put it in a rag and clean it off. It's a lot faster than trying to do the wire wheel. Okay, well, I got all the parts clean. I even actually, like I say, I put a light coat of oil on all this steel. I probably didn't have to, but I did it. I use these clamps. It's easier for me, but I found out that's the perfect spot to put them. It doesn't get in the way of anything. If you put it up here, you're in the way. It worked for me. Thinnest spring goes here. Next size goes here. Thickest spring goes here. Okay, I got the front brakes on. I want to change the fluid in this rear axle, and I don't know how to do it except to take it apart. I just don't know how else to do it. Except, I bought this thing here, 12-volt pump. It cost me $5 with my Amazon points. Okay, I got my transmission jack, a battery. They're strapped down so I don't have to worry about something falling. I don't know if this is gonna work or not. Yeah, after that fiasco yesterday, of me trying to drain that oil with that pump, I'm gonna pull the axles again, crack open the differential, let it drain, go get a gasket, pull the differential off. Okay, I got the axles out. That took like 10 minutes because I did it before. Surprisingly, this one was stuck in here. I don't know why. I just took a bar this time and it went like this. Keep hitting it. I popped it out. Yeah, I should add, it's real early in the morning. I was thinking about how do I get this thing out of here? Well, I thought, well, I better drain it first. So I left 2 nuts in just in case it popped out, one on this side, one on the other side. Then I had to hit a chisel in. I actually heated these up with a propane torch. So I found out the best way is hit it here, here, here. Just keep hitting it around hard until it cracks open. And these are pretty tight holes, so you can't just do the bottom. You have to do the top also. But look how thick this stuff is. The pan is tilted. It's barely running. Anyway, I'm going to think what to do next because it's really kind of stopped dripping. It's only been 5 minutes. This thing's heavy. The dilemma I have is I can't pick it up by hand. Okay, I almost have it out, but I'm afraid that it's going to roll off. I'm going to put a safety strap around here. Not too snug, but I need something. Okay, I got a strap on it. I feel pretty safe now. Sorry I can't film it. I just can't get in here. And I don't want to take the time, to be honest. Yeah, I don't think there's any real easy way to do this. Okay, I got it all cleaned out. Man, that gasket was a bitch. And I took the rear end over here. So if I lay a block, this I guess it's the ring gear is sitting on this block at the lowest point. If I put one right there, I get about 8 3/4 to 9 inches. Anyway, I was just wondering. And here's where the axles slip in. You never worked on a Ford rear end. In fact, I'm not really working on it now, but usually you pull the cover off and you pull a pin out and then you can slip the axle out. I kind of like this. I could just take this to a shop, say redo it, and then just pop it in myself instead of having to do all those shims. I guess this is pre-shimmed. Yeah, I'm sitting in my car. I'm beat. I can't work anymore. I'm too old. I go full speed. I mean, for my age, that's all I've always, anyway, I go full speed now. I'm burned out. It's 1 o'clock. I got the rear end out. I cleaned everything up. So now I just got to get the gasket. I just don't want to rush around trying to find a gasket. So that's the end of this part 2. And I'll show what I'm doing with the rags. It's supposed to rain in about half hour, so I decided to burn all those rags. I mean, I got oil all over the place. Yeah, I was gonna quit. I went all the way down to the auto parts store, and I forgot my wallet. That's because I came down here this morning. All I was gonna do is take a picture of the rear end to get a gasket. But while I'm here, I was thinking, what is the gear ratio in this rear end? Okay, so the door tag, I don't know if you can see it, but it says axle 1. Let's go look at the book. So according to the book, 1 is a 3 to 1. Also, I was looking on this page. If you have a number, you just have a non-locking differential. If you have a letter, then you have a locking differential. So I don't. Doesn't matter. But again, this one I'm just getting mechanically sound, and if I want to make changes in the future, I will. Anyway, back to my house, get my wallet. Can't believe I forgot it. Yeah, I was gonna end this video, but I finally got my wallet, went back, got the gasket. It fits everywhere except there's a little bump right here. Anyway, the gasket number, if you do this, right there. You know, I'm still not sure. Is this a 9-inch or 8-inch? I think they call us a 9-inch, but I'm not positive. That sucks. I'm probably gonna have to cut it and put some gasket material. Anyway, we'll hit it Monday. That's it. I got everything I need to start, put this back together. Oh, and by the way, I was thinking about this. There's no chips in any of these gears. In fact, I can't even see any wear marks. Anyway, that's it for sure.